The world is full of stories that we dismiss as fairy tales to help us sleep at night, but some legends refuse to die because they are rooted in a terrifying possibility. For decades, the name Nessie has conjured images of a long-necked monster lurking in the depths of Loch Ness, a relic of a forgotten age. Scientists and skeptics have spent lifetimes trying to debunk the myth, yet the sightings persist, haunting the misty shores of the Scottish Highlands. Today, we are moving past the campfire stories and the grainy photographs to ask a much more chilling question. If a creature truly lives in those dark waters, what kind of biological masterpiece would it have to be to survive and remain hidden?
Drops sharply at 50 meters. This explains the unique acoustic properties.
Before we dive into the abyss of this mystery, I invite you to join our journey into the unknown by subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell. We explore the intersection of myth and biology, bringing the impossible into the light of scientific reason. Your support allows us to continue deconstructing the most enduring enigmas of our planet. Let us begin our descent into the cold, peat-stained heart of the loch to find the truth hidden beneath the waves. The legend of the Loch Ness Monster is perhaps the most enduring cryptid story in human history, stretching back to early medieval reports of a water beast. However, it was the year 1933 that turned a local folk tale into a global phenomenon. A surge of sightings described something that defied conventional zoology, an animal that seemed to belong to another world entirely. Despite the inconsistencies in these reports, a few key physical traits began to emerge with striking regularity. Witnesses consistently spoke of a large, dark-bodied animal with a smooth, serpentine motion that left a wake unlike any known fish.
Seals, plesiosaurs. None of these are viable candidates for the creature sighted in the loch. We must rule them out.
One of the most frequent descriptions involves the sight of multiple humps breaking the surface, moving with a fluid, rhythmic grace. This suggests a skeletal structure that is both incredibly flexible and capable of powerful undulation. If we are to reconstruct this creature, we must move away from the idea of a prehistoric survivor and look toward the principles of evolution. We are looking for an organism that is perfectly calibrated for its environment, a predator that has traded flashiness for the ultimate survival trait, which is invisibility. Loch Ness itself is not a welcoming cradle for life, but rather a cold and unforgiving fortress. The water is exceptionally deep, reaching down over 700 feet, and it is perpetually stained dark by the surrounding peat. Visibility near the bottom is practically zero, and the temperature remains a constant, bone-chilling cold throughout the year. For any large animal to thrive here, it would need to be a master of energy conservation, as the lake is relatively nutrient-poor compared to the open ocean. The creature we are looking for cannot be a high-energy hunter. It must be a silent, low-metabolism ghost. When we look at the popular theories, we quickly find that most of them crumble under the weight of biological reality. The most famous idea, that Nessie is a surviving plesiosaur, is perhaps the least likely of all. These ancient reptiles were air breathers that required warm water and frequent trips to the surface, making them impossible to miss in a modern ecosystem. Seals and turtles are equally unlikely, as their behavior is loud, visible, and entirely inconsistent with the stealthy nature of the loch's resident. Even the giant sturgeon, often cited by skeptics, lacks the flexibility and body dynamics required to create the hump seen by hundreds of witnesses.
As the visualization shows,
if we want to find the true ancestor of this legend, we must look to the deepest, most stable parts of the ocean. There lives a creature called the Frilled Shark, a living fossil that has remained largely unchanged for millions of years. This shark possesses a naturally serpentine body, a terrifyingly flexible spine, and an uncanny ability to survive in cold, high-pressure environments. It represents a lineage of predators that prioritize stealth and efficiency over raw speed. By using the frilled shark as our evolutionary starting point, we can begin to see the outline of a creature that could actually exist. The journey of our creature likely began during the last ice age, a time of massive environmental instability and shifting coastlines. As the great glaciers began to melt and retreat, new bodies of water were formed, often connected to the sea by narrow, brackish channels. A small population of ancestral deep-sea sharks may have found themselves following prey into these new territories. Over thousands of years, these animals were forced to adapt to changing salinity levels and fluctuating temperatures. Those that could not adapt perished, but a few hardy individuals began the slow process of becoming freshwater specialists. As the land rose and the connection to the sea was severed, this population became trapped within the deep basin of Loch Ness. This isolation triggered a process known as parapatric speciation, where a small group evolves rapidly due to intense environmental pressure and genetic drift. In the dark, confined space of the loch, the rules of the ocean no longer applied. To survive, the shark had to change, moving away from the aggressive hunting style of its cousins and towards something more sustainable. It had to become a creature of the shadows, a master of the low-energy niche.
How is this even possible within the shark?
In an environment where large prey is scarce, a massive predator is a liability, unless it finds a way to feed on the smallest residents of the lake. We propose that this creature evolved toward a specialized form of suction and filter feeding. By developing a flexible, elongated front body, it could sweep through the water column, capturing schools of small fish and plankton with minimal effort. This shift in diet would allow the animal to grow to a significant size while maintaining a very low caloric requirement. It became a biological vacuum, patrolling the depths with a slow, hypnotic grace. This brings us to the introduction of a hypothetical species we call Cryptosqualus nessensis, the Ness Shark. It is an animal roughly 5 to 6 meters in length, with a long, eel-like body and fin structures that have evolved to look and function like flippers. Its skin is dark and mottled, providing perfect camouflage against the peat-stained depths and the rocky floor of the loch. Its eyes have adapted to detect the slightest hint of bioluminescence or movement in near-total darkness. When it occasionally rises to the surface, its undulating swimming motion creates the illusion of multiple humps, perfectly matching the historical sightings.
The footage confirms the presence of the anomaly at 3,000 meters. We are
The
analyzing
behavior of the
data
Ness
as we
shark is
speak.
defined by a deep-seated instinct for elusiveness. During the day, it likely rests in the deepest, coldest trenches of the lake, where the pressure and darkness protect it from any disturbance. It is a creature of the night, rising toward the surface only when the sun has set to follow the vertical migration of its prey. These
This
brief
red zone
encounters with the
represents the
upper world are
entirety of the
rare
known
and
habitat.
fleeting,
Its
lasting
proximity to
only
the
as long as
proposed
necessary to
development area
feed
is,
before
frankly,
slipping back
critical.
into the abyss. This explains why, despite millions of visitors, clear evidence remains so tantalizingly out of reach. Detection is further complicated by the unique biology of this specialized shark. Unlike most fish, it lacks a swim bladder, which means it does not reflect sonar waves in a way that most electronic equipment is designed to recognize. To a modern depth finder, the creature might appear as nothing more than a stray current or a piece of submerged timber. Its skittish nature and highly developed sensory organs allow it to detect the vibrations of a boat engine from miles away. Long before a researcher can get close, the Ness Shark has already retreated into the impenetrable murk. Imagine, if you will, a modern scientific breakthrough that finally pulls the curtain back on this mystery. It begins not with a photograph, but with a sample of water analyzed for environmental DNA. Researchers find traces of a genetic sequence that belongs to the shark family, yet matches nothing in the known database. This discovery sparks a massive, quiet operation using silent, deep-sea submersibles equipped with low-light cameras. After weeks of searching, a single grainy image appears on a monitor, showing a long, dark form gliding effortlessly through the dark. The legend is no longer a myth, it is a biological reality. With its existence finally acknowledged, the conversation shifts from skepticism to conservation. The Ness Shark is a fragile survivor, a creature that has endured for thousands of years in a very specific and limited habitat. It is a reminder that our world still holds secrets that we are not yet equipped to understand. The discovery of such an animal would challenge our understanding of evolution and the limits of life in extreme environments. It would force us to look at the dark corners of our planet with a new sense of respect and wonder. The story of the Ness Shark is a testament to the power of nature to adapt and persist against all odds. It shows us that even in the most inhospitable places, life finds a way to carve out a niche and thrive. This journey from legend to biological plausibility reminds us that science is not just about proving things wrong, but about having the imagination to see what might be right. When we look at the natural world, we must remember that we are only seeing a small fraction of the total picture. The shadows often hold more truth than the light. Does the idea of a scientifically plausible monster make the legend more or less exciting to you? If we were to find a species like the Ness Shark, should we leave it in peace or study it until every secret is revealed? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, as your perspectives help fuel these deep dives into the unknown. Please remember to subscribe and share this story if you found it compelling. Until next time, keep looking beneath the surface, for the world is far deeper and more mysterious than it appears.